Welcome to College Connect 2020, Social Justice and Social Change, Youth-Led Activism Class Showcase.
Hi, my name is Anaya. I go to Kenwood Academy, and the best part of College Connect was meeting new people and learning new and important content about our society.
Hi, my name is Alex, and I go to Whitney Young High School. And the best thing about College Connect was to meet new people and make new friends.
Hi, my name is George Maxwell Guffey. I go to Wakanda High School, and the best part of College Connect is that in a time where we're all isolated and all stuck in our own homes and not being able to talk with other people, this has been a great avenue for a lot of people to come together and be able to freely discuss and share each other's opinions and learn new perspectives on things that we don't usually get to talk about.
Hi, my name is Luz. I go to George Westinghouse College Prep, and the best part of College Connect was meeting people with the same passions and aspirations for social change.
Hi, my name is Ariana, and I go to Holy Trinity. And the best part of College Connect is meeting new people and being more educated on topics.
Hi, my name's Helena, and I go to Lincoln Park High School. And the best part of College Connect was the open and honest conversations we had.
Hi, my name is Ryan Brazil. I go to Kenwood Academy, and the best part about College Connect was connecting with new people and having really engaging conversations with them.
Hi, my name's Olivia. I go to UIC College Prep, and the best part of College Connect was being able to learn a lot of things that we don't learn in school and going on rants when we are in a really good conversation. Like, you could just go on and on about some of these topics, and like finding a community where we all agree with each other and we can talk about things.
Hi, my name is Melissa Arroyo, and I go to Lake Tech High School. My favorite part about College Connect is having a safe space to talk with kids my age and the most energetic instructors and TAs that really care about us and what we have to say.
Hi, my name is Viridiana, and I go to Curie High School. And the best part about College Connect was meeting new people and seeing their views on topics like immigration, the prison system, and racism.
Hi, my name is Kristen, and I go to Marist High School. The best part of College Connect is learning new things and meeting new people.
Hi, my name is Sarah. I go to Marist High School, and the best thing about College Connect was the TAs.
Hello, my name is Cam. I go to Roberto Clemente Community Academy, and the best part of College Connect was just growing my interest of social justice and getting to know more things and learning new ways to educate others about different social justice information.
Hi, my name is Lisbeth Martinez, and I go to Chicago Virtual Charter School. And the best part about College Connect is the discussions we had with Ilse on Wednesdays, and also getting to meet new people who became my friends.
Hello everyone, my name is Ashley White. I go to Homewood Sophomore High School, and my favorite part about College Connect was probably our Wednesday discussions that we had after learning about different issues that I really had no clue about.
Hi, my name is Isabel Pacarar, and I go to William Howard Taft High School. And the best part about College Connect was getting information about relevant issues today to support our arguments.
Hi, my name is Zach. I go to John Hancock College Prep, and the thing I liked about College Connect the most was that even though we were all isolated and this was virtual, we all connected really well.
Hi, my name is Kylie Contreras. I go to National Academy, and the best thing about the College Connect was being able to talk to people my age about politics without repercussions.
So we named our whole campaign #StopNRA.
My name is Luz. I don't know if everyone else wants to introduce themselves.
My name is Maxwell Guffey.
I'm Alex Flores.
Manaya.
I'm Mariana.
Yeah, and then we'll follow up with what exactly #StopNRA means and what it encompasses. So our vision, what do we see, you know, what's the role of this campaign? Our vision encompasses various aspects that aim to end gun violence in the US. And I think that's a very powerful sentences that kind of, it's a broad umbrella and there's a lot beneath that umbrella. We envision a nation that does not regularly, and we emphasize on regularly, suffer from gun violence. Approximately 100 people die from gun violence every single day, according to the Giffords Law Center. We envision lower gun violence rates across the nation, a gun safety Congress. A gun safety Congress looks like congressmen who are willing to fight or have ideas and plans in mind moving into Congress by making, or not by making, but like having a campaign of their own with gun safety laws or gun safety bills. So that's one of their main missions. We envision laws that mandate universal background checks. We envision a government that does not let the National Rifle Association control and influence our steps for gun reform. As we may know, the NRA has a very, very strong influence on our Congress, and that is very rare as it is a nonprofit organization. So we see like they're not even we see that very kind of like unjust just because they are not a department of the US. We also envision not giving any political power to the NRA.
Our campaign goal is first to educate the public on the NRA's tight grip hold on US politicians. There are many US voters out there that aren't aware of how much power the NRA holds over the elected officials that are in office, from the very top of the president, where they funded more than $50 million into his presidential campaign, or notable senators like Mitch McConnell, or even smaller state representatives that represent you locally. The NRA has funded many campaigns in one way or another, from direct donations or super PACs, and we aim to educate the public to be aware of who's funding your elected officials that represent you. Then we want to convince the public, after educating them, to not support or vote for politicians that accept the NRA's money. This will encourage politicians to no longer accept the NRA's funding and be able to hopefully make decisions that aren't based on trying to appease the NRA, but make the laws and gun reform that we the people want. It's generally agreed upon that common sense gun control is what people on both sides of the political spectrum, on the left and right, want, and it's up to the politicians to actually enact it. We also want to further encourage politicians to no longer accept the NRA's money by raising money to support those campaigns that sign the pledge to supplement for the lost donations, in order to ensure that the NRA will not have further extreme influence on politics going on.
And to echo on on the first bullet point, why is it that we have to educate the public on the NRA? I think many people, especially here in Chicago, are worried about, you know, like gun violence, you know, and they blame it on the city government, they blame it on the police. But the thing is that this is an issue that's, this is almost like a universal issue. Like, this is something that is totally manageable by the city government, but the federal government also has to help us in that mission. And I feel like many people don't even know what the people, and including I, didn't know until last year what the NRA exactly was and what they did and their influence. So I feel like they need more coverage on the media, and the media doesn't cover like what exactly the NRA does. So there's something like hidden. So I think that's why we need to tell more people about the NRA.
So why we want to stop the NRA? In 2016, our NRA spent more than $30 million on behalf of the Trump campaign, and I think, well, I know that Trump is homophobic, racist, all these things go on forever, and if you support Trump, you also fall under that category. And the NRA has faced financial scandals and investigations from New York. So the state attorney general in New York is investigating the NRA because they have been dealing with tax problems, and the tax experts have been raising concerns by the NRA because they have been using money under the table, not legally, and people that fund the NRA are the member newsletters, sporting events, and gun safety education and training programs. And you can see in the graph in the picture below that the spendings for the NRA skyrocketed in 2016 because that's when the Trump campaign was going on.
So our target audience is going to be more on the right wing and conservative politicians and the ones who support them. So that will be including like the ones that use the social media, and that will be fall under like the Twitter users who are always commenting on Trump's tweets, and like the people who continuously support him in his actions through social media, whether that be through Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, or any other form of medium. And in order to further educate the supporters, we will need to gather an audience that already supports gun control and is anti-NRA to help push the movement's goal. And the way we can do this is by making like an account or like a movement within the social media platform in order to target these people to make the support stronger for the base of the movement. And then overall, as we know, social media users would be the ideal target for this because they are the ones that can be influenced instead of the mainstream ones.
Low-level confrontation. Low-level confrontation are the petitions, and those help like address like the government, and you know, it's a request to address something, and people are using like those a lot lately because of like Corona and all that. You know, people are not. Yeah. And hashtags help identify this specific topic, and social media posts spread information and awareness. Yeah.
For our high-level confrontations, we decided to gather people to protest and march in front of the NRA headquarters. And I know it's more, because they're all the way in Virginia, it's more difficult for us to do it because we're here in Chicago. But I'm pretty sure people are already there protesting in front of the NRA headquarters. And we can also write a letter to the president of the NRA or whoever runs the NRA to address the problems and explain what they're doing and how they're not creating a safe environment for the people living there. We can also protest in front of the Virginia Crime Commission's building, their job is to find ways to reduce and prevent crime. And they're just kind of sitting there doing nothing and kind of letting the crime happen, and which also leads to writing a letter to them explaining how they're not using their authority to make a safe environment and just kind of watching from afar to not do anything.
Yeah, and I'll echo on the first bullet point. I think the most efficient, I guess, during these times and with everything that's been happening, I think protesting has done a lot right now in our nation, because it's like these mass protests are opening people's minds. You know, they're telling, you know, to echo back on George Floyd's stuff, every single state had a protest, and what did it bring? Now we're talking more about Black Lives Matter. Now we're talking more about civil rights. Now we're talking more about systematic racism. So I think it's protesting and mass protesting and consistent protesting that will help truly get to the NRA.
And here is an example of a social media post that we would post for the campaign. This is a tweet with our Stop NRA movement profile account, just spreading the hashtag Stop NRA and telling and educating the public about how much the NRA has influence over our politicians.
Yeah, it says our politicians are in the pocket of the NRA, serving the NRA, not the people, preventing common sense gun control. Refuse to donate or support them until they work for us and not them. And those are our sources.
Where are the children?
The vision is citizenship for immigrants and free immigrants from detention centers.
The campaign goal is to find the missing detained children and return them to their families, and create public awareness of missing detained children. Gather support from community groups, nonprofit organizations, and local politicians. Fight for updated systems and procedures for documenting location and other relevant information regarding all detained individuals, not just children.
Why? We need this campaign in order to keep the government accountable for their actions at the detention centers. Everyone needs to see the comparison between those missing at the US-Mexico border and the children the detention centers lose track of. Graph 1 versus Graph 2, 120 to 0, 1,570 to 227, and 1,570 to 25,802. The information found is inaccurate because those missing at the border, only 50% are accounted for, and those missing children, only 1/3 are not accounted for.
So we want to target basically two groups of people. So the first group would be like the people around us, because getting people who aren't educated about this problem, getting more people like that to actually understand the problem can help people like J.B. Pritzker, who is someone of more power, understand why this is such an issue and see how many people are interested in the issue and want to solve the issue to solve the problem.
For our campaign's low-level confrontation, our group decided to do a protest, and in which we would gather a large amount of people, a solid group, in order to get Pritzker's attention, as well as other people to start questioning about what's going on, get them interested. And on the slide, there are like examples of posters and t-shirts we would use in our protest in order to get people excited about what's going on.
For our higher level confrontation, we wanted to do something that was done before, which is a day without immigrants. And for this, immigrants wouldn't go to work or school. And also they would avoid buying at like chain stores that are primarily white owned, like Target, Walmart, and Macy's. And then this will kind of include kind of boycotting some of Pritzker's businesses that he owns, like Hyatt Hotels, which is owned by his family, which would make them lose a lot of money. And it will also kind of show him why immigrants are a big part of our country. And then also, since a lot of people will be supporting this movement, we could get non-immigrants kind of also join in, which will make businesses lose a lot of money.
So 2 examples of social media posts would be on Instagram and Facebook, and they would say, our campaign is called Where Are the Children? We want to educate people about the missing children at the border and raise awareness about what is going on. Follow us to see more information and ways to get involved.
Okay, so we named our project Peace Over Police. That was Ryan's idea, and these are all of our names.
Our vision. We want a radical change to the training of the police officers, defund the CPD, and reallocate the money to the CPS and overload fund areas. Eradicate police violence.
All right, so the campaign goal with our project Peace Over Police is we did a lot of research. I mean, everybody knows obviously there's a lot wrong with the police. But after doing a little bit of research and sharing like a lot of anecdotal stories and everything, we realized there's a lot more wrong than we might have previously thought. So the first most like shocking thing that was wrong with the police is the fact that the amount of training it takes to become a police officer is at maximum 6 months. Um, and it takes way longer than that to be something as simple as a barber. So we think if you have somebody's life in their hands, not just their hair, it should take a lot longer than 6 months to become a police officer. And on top of that, we looked at the CPD's website for a lot of the things that they need to become a police officer, the requirements, and we suggested a ton of things that they should add, and one of those being bi-yearly implicit bias training, because that's a huge thing that police officers deal with, you know, every single day. Every time they encounter somebody, there's some sort of implicit bias going on. We also want them to learn how to handle situations better. Obviously, we've seen the stories about handling people with mental illness. They're not equipped for that at all. They're just kind of thrown in there, and oftentimes their answer is to just, you know, take them down or just remove that person from the situation by any means necessary. So in hand with that, we want them to have more de-escalation training, to take situations that are, you know, progressively getting more aggressive and bring that down to a more steady level. On top of that, we want to make sure that the way they manage these situations, for example, guns, that's deadly force, and a lot of the time, you know, obviously we've seen guns being used when it should realistically not be the first thing an officer reaches for. Another thing we've seen with the Breonna Taylor case, no-knock warrants. We looked into that. We saw Breonna's law, and we were very happy to see that it was a law that was passed. However, we realized that that was a law that was only passed in one city in Kentucky. So we would like to make that a lot more widespread. And of course, you know, there needs to be some punishments for officers who do break these laws, including somebody who shoots a victim in the back, because that clearly shows the victim is running, the victim is not posing a direct threat. And too often times this is just thrown around as, oh, maybe the officer, you know, felt threatened anyway. No, we need to make sure that it's something that never happens again. And then lastly, one thing, we should educate the police as well on where they came from. Knowing that they started in the South as runaway slave catchers could be something that helps police understand how the public sees them, and then also handle situations with a little more grace and kind of awareness of their position of power that they have. And those are our campaign goals.
Okay, so basically our motivation for wanting to basically just restructure how the police, like, restructure basically everything they do comes from they're just simply too powerful. The police are supposed to uphold the law, but instead of doing that, whenever they break the law, they get off essentially scot-free unless there's video evidence. And even when there is, like in the case of Con McDonald, there's video evidence, but they didn't show it to the public because the police had other police officers back. Obviously, that goes against the direct idea of what they're supposed to do. When you're supposed to uphold the law, it means that you should have more respect for it than anybody. It shouldn't mean that you think that you're above it. And the main problem that arises from that is police violence, because they know that they can get away with it. They know that their other officers will have their back and that nobody will hold them accountable except for the public. But even then, they still have the power to attack the public. As we can see in the protests going on right now, we're asking them to be less violent. We're asking them to use other methods instead of killing people when they feel threatened. and they're attacking the protesters at a rally against police violence. Not to mention that in many communities of color, there are so many police officers, and yet there are still extremely high crime rates. So obviously, there isn't enough being done. Meanwhile, in neighborhoods that are white and affluent, there aren't that many police officers, and there is less crime, and that shows a discrepancy. Because if police are supposed to stop crime, then why is it that the neighborhoods with more police still have these high rates of crime? We still hear in the news every day that a child was shot in a crossfire, that somebody was shot for just walking down the street, all these terrible things, and yet there are police officers everywhere, and yet they're nowhere to be seen when crime is actually being committed. Additionally, the CPD receives $11.65 billion in their 2020 budget for having around 14,000 police officers. Meanwhile, CPS educates nearly 400,000 students and only receives $5.46 billion. It doesn't make sense that someone serving far less people should have significantly more money when it shows that if you put a lot of resources into education and you nurture these kids, that the crime rates go down. It's been proven in every society, and yet we don't give them the education that they deserve. We treat it like they don't matter, and we've been defunding CPS for years. And yet when someone asks, maybe we should defund the police, it's acted as if it's the most insane idea ever.
Our four targets are the alderman, the superintendent, the education and training division of the CPD, and Mayor Lori Lightfoot. And we chose those four targets because they have the power to lengthen the training requirements longer than 6 months, and also defund the police, and that money can go to other resources. And then for our low-level confrontation, we decided that we would send the alderman letter saying that CPD is overfunded. And since we are CPS students, we realize how useful this could be towards CPS.
So our high-level confrontation tactic would be for us to have a demonstration outside of the CPD headquarters, reading the names of those who were murdered by the CPD. This is so that people can understand the extent of the problem, because if we can read this long list of all these people that were murdered, it shows that it isn't just like an isolated incident. It isn't something that happens rarely. It's something that happens way too often for the people who are meant to be protecting us.
This is our social media post. We were going to explain our target and the why, our campaign goal, and why we're doing this and why is it a problem. And we're going to encourage people to like and share so it can reach more people and then get viral, because a lot of people need to see this and draw attention to it. So yeah. And Raina did this. And thank you.
Okay, so our campaign is the Young Adults for LGBTQ plus Youth. This is just kind of like a chapter overview of our presentation. We'll talk about our vision and campaign, the crisis, the target, confrontations, and then our social media. So our vision is to ban all anti-LGBTQ laws and policies in the government nationwide.
And then our campaign goal, like what we're focusing on, is bringing back the policy that Obama instated that basically said transgender individuals will be held in prisons that correspond with their gender identity.
This is a crisis because it is a human rights issue. Trump has undone a multitude of protective laws that were put in place under the previous administration, and society should be progressing forward regarding human rights, not going back in time.
Here's a little bit of stats for you. So people identifying as LGBTQ plus have higher percentages of experiencing rape as well as physical and sexual violence. And the statistics on those who experience those, it's much higher than straight folks. So 44% lesbians, 61% bi women, 26% gay men, and 37% bi men. And about half of transgender folks are sexually assaulted at least once in their lifetime. And about half of bisexual women that are rape survivors experience their first rape between the ages of 11 and 17.
Our target is the Trump administration because before Trump entered office, laws had officially been progressing towards equality for the LGBTQ plus community, and Trump has gradually been repealing laws put in place for the protection of people who identify as LGBTQ plus. Simultaneously, Trump claims to be the most pro-gay, pro-LGBT president and someone who would do everything in his power to protect LGBT citizens. Real change happens in legislation, and if Trump administration would like to be as pro-LGBT as they claim, they would listen to these requests.
So the confrontations we would do, like a low-level one, would be protesting the issue at hand in front of the White House and the Capitol to demand the attention of those in government positions. And a high-level one is actually going to a Trump rally, unlike a lot of like the people that did it in Tulsa, like actually going, but and having like pride flags and pride gear to gather the attention of Trump and his supporters regarding this. So.
All right, so for social media, we started an Instagram called Teens Fighting for Gay Rights. And basically the goal was kind of to like bring like awareness to this kind of situation. Because quite frankly, like I never really knew about this stuff until I started doing research, and I'm sure others didn't. And I know that like I've seen a lot of people's Instagram stories with like posts like this. So we decided to create our own to kind of tell people's stories and like spread why this is an issue.